What's up guys, it's Dwayne, back again for another video, back again for a reaction, and today's a great, wonderful, amazing day because it's a Finland day. Has living in Finland changed me? 2 years later. Without further ado, let's get into this reaction, let's go. I like that mug. I want that mug. It's like a PlayStation mug.
Hey, what is up guys? It has been a little while since we've had a little coffee with Kat, and if you're new around here, basically that just means we're gonna have a little sit down and a chat and catch up a little bit. And to be honest, at this point in time, there's not an awful lot more one can do than just kind of sit around. But basically what we're going to be talking about today is the fact that Kat and I have now been living in Finland, specifically in Helsinki, for 2 years now. Which sounds...
That's a decent amount of time, 2 years.
Sounds absolutely bonkers. What? And probably those of you who have been following me or both of us for that amount of time, you're probably thinking, what? Where's that 2 years gone as well? Because, oh my god, it has gone so fast. But actually, over my Instagram, I asked you guys if you had any questions for me about the 2 years that I've been living in Finland. And you guys have sent quite a lot of really interesting questions. Some the exact same as whenever I ask for questions like, what's the best thing about Finland? What is worst thing about Finland? I appreciate the question, but...
That was actually a really good accent. I don't know, from what I've heard, when I hear Finnish people speak, that sounded like a Finnish person.
I think I've answered them several times. But there was one question in particular, which is the title of this video, of course, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more than the others because it was so interesting. And for like several days, I was sitting down trying to think of answers to this. And that was something along the lines of, how have I changed during the 2 years living in Finland, like as a person? So I actually started making a little list of ways that I have at least noticed that living in Finland, being around Finns, has changed me. And by the way, this is my new laptop, my computer, the Dell XPS 13 2020 edition, kindly sent to me by Dell, so thank you very much Dell. They sent it to me to kind of help me with my Finnish studies and that kind of stuff, so really kind of...
Oh wow, he's getting sponsored by Dell. Go on Dave, getting laptops sent to you.
Them, great computer.
I'm jealous.
Really enjoying using it actually. First of all, the way that I speak. Now I think this is quite normal when you move somewhere or you're around certain people for long periods of time. Like when Kat's around her American friend, oh my god, like instantly she turns into like this valley girl. But I certainly think that I speak in a more neutral way now and a bit less British, if that makes any sense. Of course, when I speak and making these videos, you could...
I think he means less regional, basically. I think that's what it means. It means like he doesn't have a strong accent from any particular place in Britain. Which I agree, actually, it sounds quite neutral to me.
Probably tell that I am British, but in a much less obvious way, maybe? I don't know what I'm trying to say here. But if you check back on some of my earlier videos, you may notice that I have this very kind of British twang.
Now, when I first started, it was just going to be literally just making a video for myself, and more people started watching my videos. Now it turns out...
Okay, yeah. He sounds like regional, like the part of... I think he's from somewhere down south, maybe like London or something. And he sounds like the area he grew up in. That's what he sounds like, if that makes sense.
Turns out that the people that are watching my videos now...
2012, wow.
And I can't really explain it, but... yeah, it's very British indeed. But I think kind of subconsciously, without even knowing, I've started to be a little bit more clear on how I pronounce and enunciate my words. I make sure I don't drop any T's or D's or anything like that, and I use a lot less slang in my everyday language now. And it was funny actually, and I did notice this when my mum and my brother came over to visit a few months ago. Almost immediately as they arrived, I just started using all the slang. I started dropping letters and stuff like that. So I think it is very much a circumstantial change that I've made, like
For sure.
with the way that I speak.
It's like an unconscious like way of kind of like, okay, I need to make this clear. Maybe when I speak, actually, for sure, when I speak to you guys on here, I'm a lot clearer in enunciating my words rather than speaking in my regional accent, which is the north of England. Sometimes I say a few words in like a northern English accent, but it's definitely stronger when I'm at home than when I'm away from home. So I get what he's saying.
But as soon as I'm around fellow Brits, it goes straight back to being very sloppy. Also about the way that I speak, I've definitely picked up some Finnish isms. I say aha a lot more in surprise and in displeasure, and it's just a very good word. Also grunt a lot more, which I feel like is quite a Finnish thing, because why use words when you can just go mm-hmm. And this is something my
A lot of Finnish people go mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
My buddy Tim pointed out when he was over here last, and that I say aha a lot more.
Aha.
Which I didn't necessarily know was a Finnish thing, but I think I've heard it quite a lot more since he pointed that out. So yeah, I guess that's a thing too. And yeah, swearing. Now, I'm not a guy that swears an awful lot, maybe if something really bad happens, but yeah, I tend not to. That being said, as soon as I have learned some Finnish and actually some Swedish swear words, cursing or whatever you want to call it, I tend to use them quite a lot. And it's so funny because, like I say, I don't swear a lot, but I tend to use Finnish and Swedish swear words certainly more often than English ones. I feel
like they don't sound as bad, that's why. Like helvete, or helvete. Or however Finnish people say it, but it's like a similar thing in Sweden. I'd love that word. If I lived in Finland or Sweden, I think I'd be using that word a lot. It just doesn't sound as bad as like, I just feel like English swear words are horrendous. They're horrible. They're so bad.
I think it's because they don't mean anything to me. Of course, when you're growing up with a language and you hear these swear words, you connect them and you know, oh, that's a bad word. Shouldn't say that unless it really calls for it. But yeah, especially the Finnish swear words, they're just so like perkele. You know, it's so good. Like even just the sound. Oh, it's good. But again, because that doesn't mean anything to me, I say it and I don't feel bad that I said it because it's a naughty word. So now, I've always been quite a laid back person, but since moving to Finland, I would argue that I've maybe even become more laid back, especially in certain areas of my life. The Finnish lifestyle is quite chill, I have to say. Nobody's rushing around, especially compared to London, even Helsinki, capital city.
I knew he was from London. He sounds like he's from London, the capital of England. I'm not from London.
Compared to London, man, whew, it's like comparing apples and oranges. It's just completely different. But yeah, I would say that I've even become a little bit more laid back. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. All right, my next topic is about languages. And if you guys have been following my channel since the start of the year, you will know that I have a brand new series here called Race to the Finnish, where I'm trying to learn Finnish, basically, in 1 year. But even before starting that, I think my attitude towards languages and learning languages has completely changed. And even more so in the 2 years that I've been living here, because I feel like it's quite a British attitude, and it's unfortunate that this is the general thought about learning languages, that everyone speaks English, more or less. And I gotta be honest, when I was at school and I was being forced to learn French, I was like, what's the point? Everyone speaks English in France.
It's such a bad attitude to have, but that is the British attitude. When I was in school in Britain as well, it's exactly the same. Like you get, but I feel like it's also the teachers' attitudes as well, and the society's attitude. They don't really hammer into you have to learn a second language. It's not seen as an important thing to do, really, because you speak the lingua franca of the world. We speak English, where majority of the world speaks English. So why do we need to learn another language? It was never seen as a priority, and that's why the majority of British people cannot speak a second language. And if they can speak a second language, they're definitely not fluent.
Which actually probably isn't the case. I don't know. I've never been to France. But going from that attitude at school, like, oh, why do we learn a language, to now living in another country, my attitude to learning languages has definitely changed, and it's really awesome. I think learning a language, well, scientifically learning another language is one of the hardest things you can do with your brain. And I am trying to simultaneously learn 2 languages, Swedish and Finnish. So yeah, you could say that.
You try and learn Swedish and Finnish.
Language.
Woof, that's hard. And the thing is, they're not even mutually intelligible. You can't. Finnish is so different from Swedish. So good luck. I wonder how he's done. This is 2 years ago. So I wonder how he's done.
Languages has definitely changed. Now, of course, at British schools, it's a little bit different to other schools around the world, in Finland included, where English is such an important language, just because everyone does pretty much speak English. It's quite a good common language. Now, and I guess at schools in the UK, they just pick a language that's close. France, why not? And some people at my school, I think, learnt Spanish instead. I think I would have actually preferred to have learnt Spanish. That I could.
Me too. Like, so when I was at school, I didn't learn French. I would have preferred to learn French, maybe. I wouldn't learn Spanish. I learned German. So at the time, I wasn't happy. I was like, why do I want to learn German? I don't want to learn German. Like, when am I going to ever learn German? But actually now I'm quite happy I learned German, because I'm actually learning about Germany on my second channel, Dwayne's Lens. I will put a link in the description so you guys can check it out if you're interested in me learning about Germany. So yeah, it's come in handy now.
Could have gotten behind, I think. But I think in the 2 years I've been living here, it's become more and more clear that if I take the time and learn Finnish especially, that my life would be easier. So yeah, there is that. Also, I think in the 2 years that I've been living in Finland, I've grown up a lot more. I don't know if that's necessarily Finland or just moving countries, moving away from your home country, because there's a lot that comes with moving country, especially to a country where you don't speak the language, and most of it is mentally difficult. Because when we first moved here, I felt very anxious. Even just going outside, walking through the town. As I said, we lived in Kamppi in Helsinki, which is pretty central. Just going outside, going to the shop, I was really anxious just to interact with people. And it actually took quite a while for that anxiety to, like I say, even just go to the shop. God bless self-service checkouts, by the way. Yeah, I felt like I had to grow up quite quickly, and realize that things don't happen on their own. You just got to go.
When you move to another country, sorry to cut you off, Dave. When you move to another country, the anxiety is high. When you can't speak the language, when it's the main language of the country, the first language, and your language is like either not spoken that much, or, I mean, to be fair, he moved to Finland and a lot of you can speak English. The country I moved to, not a lot of people can speak English very well. So I understand that anxiety.
Got to go out there and get it done. Otherwise it won't happen. And since then I have started my own business here in Finland. I've found an office space, an accountant, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, wow, that's all quite grown-up stuff.
Started his own business.
And became a dad. Maybe that has something to do with it. Yeah, those are just a few things I could think of over the last couple of days. But I do have a few more questions here which I thought were quite interesting. Like, does Finland now feel more like home to you than a UK? And that is a resounding yes. Absolutely. Wow. Now, of course, back in the UK, I have all my family and friends and stuff. But the last time we went to the UK, where we brought Leo, our son, to visit some family and stuff that hadn't seen him yet, when we came back, man, it was like, I'm home. But of course that trip was quite stressful in itself. We had a 4-month-old, I think it was at the time, taking him on a plane for the first time. Oh my God. But like when the wheels just touched down in Helsinki and we got in the car, I was just like, looking around, I was like, home, fine. How fully do you feel that you are part of?
I really, really get that. I do. Now I don't live in the UK. I do.
Of Finnish society? Very good question, actually. I guess, yeah, I'm fully integrated into Finnish society in as much as, you know, I'm registered here as a resident, I guess. My business is registered here. I'm paying tax here, which we all know is fun. So I guess in as much as being integrated into Finnish society on paper, 100%. What has living in Finland taught you? Again, very good question. I think it has taught me that I am more resilient than I thought I was and more adaptable. Would you move back to the UK? No. Next question. Do you think you will apply for Finnish citizenship?
Wow. That wasn't, he didn't even blink. Would you move back to the UK? No. It was a straight, wow. So that says a lot about Finland, guys. He loves Finland. That makes me more excited to go to Finland because obviously there's something special about your country. Dave didn't even think twice when he read that question. Wow. Wow. Oops, sorry.
Resilient than I thought I was and more adaptable. Would you move back to the UK? No. Next question. Do you think you will apply for Finnish citizenship sometime in the future? Maybe. We'll see how Brexit goes. What is your t-shirts plus shorts minimum temperature?
Brexit?
Sure.
When is this before Brexit? This is old. I wonder if it's still the same. I'd love to know his feelings on Finland now. He needs to make an update video. If he has, let me know in the comment section below.
I don't know what the temperature is today, 12 degrees. But usually for shorts with a t-shirt and hoodie is 10 degrees to go outside. T-shirt and shorts, I don't know, maybe like 15 degrees, something like that. How do you like the winters here? This winter sucked. We had barely any snow, at least here in Helsinki, and yeah, that wasn't much fun. Last winter, however, was good, had some snow, but I seem to remember that I could not wait for the spring to come, and now spring is here. So now we're getting sunshine, we're getting warmer days, and that's actually really nice, especially after such a grey, miserable winter. Do you think your Finnish has improved faster than when you lived in England? Absolutely, especially over these last 3 months where I've actually been, or 4 months now, where I've actually been taking it seriously and studying and all that kind of stuff. And if you see my Finnish video, all in Finnish, or the 2 that I've made now, if you would have asked me to do that even in December, I would have said you're crazy. But I think I'm gonna leave that there, guys, otherwise this video will be 3 hours long. I haven't even finished my coffee, oh my god. But thank you for anyone who left me a question over on Instagram. It was like 2 weeks ago that I asked for these questions. But anyway, I think I will reply to some of these questions on my story. So if you're interested in seeing some answers to other questions.
Should I get an Instagram? I don't have an Instagram. Maybe I should get an Instagram. I have a Patreon, link is in the description if you guys are interested in that, where I watch Finnish TV shows. Currently I'm watching Border Town, which is really, really, really good, and well, I'm watching it again tomorrow. Quite a way through it. I think we're on episode 6 or 7. So yeah, I have a Patreon, but I don't have an Instagram. So yeah, maybe I'll get an Instagram, but I have a Patreon. If you want to connect with me and speak with me and watch some movies with me and TV shows with me, check out my Patreon. Link is in the description.
The questions that I was asked, go on over to my Instagram at dave.cad. There are some other good ones, so yeah, check my stories out. Yeah, thank you for joining me on this little coffee with Cad video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you've gotten something out of it maybe. Hopefully these quarantine times won't go on for too much longer.
Oh, this is an old video.
And make some more videos outside, but yeah.
So this is quarantine time. Wow. Apparently this was the best time to be on YouTube because everyone was watching YouTube at that time. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, I will see you very soon.